back with our hearings today for Public Works. We've got Mark Sturdivant before us, who will in a second recognize the folks that he has brought with us. We also have several council members who have joined us for this particular session. We have Councilman Cooper, Councilman Vercher, Councilman Elrod, Councilman Hager, Councilman Henderson, and Councilman Swope. We appreciate all of you being here for the Public Works conversation. I think it's important for me to say, as I have said before, every budget hearing that we have started, that we will have more requests for funds than we will have available revenue at the end of the day. So as we have these discussions over the next several days, know that we will take these conversations and discussions under advisement and then identify what is the most effective and efficient way to allocate those dollars for the taxpayers of Davidson County. With that in mind, Mark, would you like to kick us off by introducing who you've got with you?
Thank you, Mayor. We have today Don Reed from our paving department. We have Philip Jones from operations. Jonathan Cleggan is here from engineering. We have Kelly Brockman, who is our new public information officer. Sharon Smith from beautification, and then Sharon Wallstrom from finance and administration. We also have Paul Hiltz. I left him till last because Paul is retiring in the next few weeks. This is his last budget meeting. He's worked for Metro for 21 years, wow. 12 of which was at Public Works. He's been a steady, consistent, reliable employee for Metro. Not sure how we replace him.
Well, stand up, please, and so we can acknowledge you and say thank you for your service. Thank you. 21 years is a long time. Thank you.
Okay. There are a few key points I want to make before we get into the budget conversation. The first would be that we know our budget is aggressive. It has lots of new positions and represents a lot of funding. But over the last several months, on more than one occasion, Mayor, you have asked us to tell you what we need. You've asked the question, what will it take to get Public Works to the level it needs to be? And so we'd like to offer this budget as an expression and a definition of that need. We know you won't fund our entire request this year, so we hope instead we can work with you over the next series of budgets in upcoming years to bring Public Works to the levels we're showing in this budget. So today we'd like for you to think of this more as a plan.
Okay.
Second, I want to talk about some of the early changes we've made since I started at Public Works 6 months ago. We have two audits underway. The first is our IT audit. I thought coming into Public Works it was worthwhile to take a top-to-bottom look at our IT situation. A lot of our systems have been in place for a while. They work effectively, but they may be outdated, and they may also not be compatible with other Metro departments, and they also may not meet the security standards that we expect. We also know that as the city moves to smart city technologies, particularly in the areas of transportation and infrastructure, that Public Works has to have the IT structure and systems to support that. The second audit is our right-of-way permits office. With Talia's help, we have a contractor who is conducting a review of how our permit department is organized and how it operates. They have an extremely heavy workload, or the office does. In a few weeks, we hope to have recommendations on how to make organizational improvements and how to manage that process better. Here's a statistic that illustrates that workload. In 2014, we issued just over 20,000 permits in the right-of-way. That's a big number, except in 2016 it was over 67,000. We're also making a concerted effort to improve communication and responsiveness at Public Works. We have a new PIO, Kelly Brockman, who's doing great. In April, we will have a new community outreach person who will also work directly with the Metro Council. We now send out a weekly update every Friday to the council. We hope to expand and build upon that. And we intend to be more proactive about attending events and public meetings. In the next month, we'll introduce to the council our new outward-facing open data capital project tracker, which will allow the council and the public to see and monitor all the projects we are working on at Public Works. I think we've also made improvements in how we collaborate with other departments. This includes the obvious ones like planning and MTA, but it also includes water, parks, the police department, TDOT, and NES. And then finally, internally, at Public Works, we're looking at how to better align ourselves with the priorities of Nashville. We know that transit is one of the main priorities. As a result of that, we're moving to an organizational structure at Public Works that has two distinct divisions. One that includes operations, finance, and administration, and then the other, which would be a division of transportation that groups all our engineering, traffic, and right-of-way capital projects into one management structure. So those are my kind of opening points.
Great. Why don't you take me through the operating budget request of the enhancements that you want this year?
Under reallocation, we've diligently, and I do mean diligently, reviewed our existing budget and found ways to save money that can be reallocated within Public Works to provide additional services and personnel. This will mean an additional 4 positions, and that'll benefit us from engineering to recycling. Do you want to hear the actual numbers? Okay. Actually, I might ask you to do this one. This one was Sharon's idea.
First, let me ask a question, because when I hear the word reallocation, I think that's right. So you're going to be able to take $800,000 and reallocate it for 4 FTEs that you want to hire.
What we did was, there's a contract that's expiring,
Okay.
and we've determined that we can do portions of that contract cheaper in-house.
Okay.
And so we're going to hire 1 employee to perform the functions that a portion of that contract did, and that leaves us with additional money where we can reallocate that to other employees who can work on some recycling things.
Great. Good.
Okay. Under contractual needs, as we do every year, we're asking for funding to cover our annual contracted increases for trash collection, trash disposal, brush processing, and NES TVA rates for street lighting.
And so that is just a baseline in order to maintain the services. This does not give any additional services. Okay. All right.
Okay, under the USD annexation, we are excited about the upcoming USD annexation of portions of districts primarily in the north and the east sides of the county. These are in districts 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, and 31. I think that represents about 9,000 households. We're asking for funding to begin providing trash and recycling services, as well as additional street lights. This would be 3 employees. The revenue would be $2.5 million. The cost would be $1.2 million. And then there's equipment as well.
And with the annexation of the individuals into the USD, we are obligated to provide those.
Correct.
Right. Is that when it is? October? Okay. Great.
In October of 18, right?
Okay. The next,
While we're on there, we're going to be able to, is that the schedule we're going to operate on, October of 18, to provide the service? Or?
That's what we're going to try to reach. Some of that's going to depend on equipment delivery dates, et cetera, so,
Okay.
but that's our goal.
But the individuals, when do they start paying into that? When do they pay into it, and when do they get to see the results?
Their taxes will be in between October and February, so October of 17 to February of 18. So all services will have to be in by October of 18.
Got it.
And we hope to provide it sooner than that. A lot of that, like I said, is going to depend on delivery dates for equipment.
okay, right? Okay, the next is the Division of Transportation, and since I've been at Public Works, we've had a steering committee of metro departments, which has included, obviously, Public Works, MTA planning. We've also included ITS and your office.
Yep.
And while down the road we may find a need for a standalone department, right now we feel like we just need to get working at Public Works, and we'll do that within this new division of transportation. And with that, we're asking for 2 positions, a multimodal transit engineer. This would be a new person for us, and then a multimodal planner. And these positions will be working on items that directly relate to current Public Works functions and will need to be coordinated between those other departments. We're also requesting money here to complete some of the recent studies and then begin public communications and education and input on planned new transit options. So that we'll work directly with the program firm that MTA is selecting. This would be 2 employees in the amount of $273,000, and then communications and studies in the amount of $850,000.
So planning's asked for some money for sort of transportation-related purposes. MTA has some funds on that. So from our prior discussions, the idea is that there would be better coordination, and ultimately one day they could all roll into one DOT. Right. But you want to kind of take it incremental for the next year at least.
Right, and the formation of a standalone department is actually kind of a time-consuming endeavor. And
charter issues, all kinds of.
Right, which we're not at the moment.
It's more. I'm more interested in results than I am. Creating something.
I think our focus will be on the right-of-way issues within the right-of-way, and we're going to start looking at right-of-way issues.
Because that's going to be the biggest issue on any transit plan is how do you acquire the right-of-way, the plans and all that. So
it's often the thing that slows you down.
The sooner we start on that, the better, the further ahead we're going to be in any kind of transportation-related plan. Okay.
But just to be clear, I think it's important to know that you're not the only one who's asking for resources for this addition to Public Works. It's also, there's some FTEs that are being requested from also planning, ITS, you all. As we think about these requests, it's kind of a total package.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, the next, number 5, is beautification. We know a big concern over the last few months has been litter and trash.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you hear the word beautification and people maybe don't really understand what it means at home. What it means is trash pickup. If you look at the byways, the streets in Nashville at the moment, the amount of litter and garbage that seems to be accumulating is something that I feel strongly about, that I want us to impact. I know we've been working closely with council members for a cleanup day, but then it's also that general maintenance all year round that would make me very happy.
Well, we work on it every day.
I know you do. Thank you.
On the litter side, we've implemented the roving trash truck.
Yes, which I'm very grateful. Can you say that again, Mark? I want people to know that we've done that because I think it's really important.
We have implemented the roving trash truck.
Yes.
We rode down here in it today. And it will be, we're also going to work in conjunction with MTA on litter around bus stops. And we'll also assist the codes department on their various needs. We've also been working with the downtown merchants on beginning a glass recycling program for the largest generating businesses in the area. And so we're requesting people and equipment to begin that program. The roving trash truck would be 3 employees, $175,000, and equipment in the amount of $188,000. And then for glass, it would be 6 employees, $416,000, and equipment of $400,000.
And why? And talk a minute about why the glass recycling for downtown is so important.
I'm going to let Sharon Smith handle that one.
The merchants downtown that are our current trash customers that have a lot of glass are primarily the honky-tonks and restaurants, and they produce an amazing amount of glass bottles. In fact, probably the bulk of what we're collecting up from them right now that's going to the landfill is glass bottles. So we're really hoping to divert as much of that as possible because it's potentially up to 60-70% of what they're generating.
My own experience being down there on a night when we were picking up trash, the 20 containers and two cycles of trash pickup on any given night, where you've got all those containers that have to be picked up, and the amount of long necks that people, because everybody wants a long neck.
There are millions of bottles
Yeah.
Downtown that we can recycle.
Make a huge impact. Yeah. And what about TDOT? We working with TDOT on an MOU for us to pick up some of the trash on those, at least those ramps?
Yes, we're in contact with TDOT a lot, and I have to say that, our operations people and the TDOT people work really well together, and but yeah, we're trying to improve that.
Because I think it's important for the folks at home to know that the highways and the freeways are all controlled under TDOT. So when you see that garbage out there, we'd like to see it get picked up too, working with TDOT to make sure that happens. Thanks.
Okay.
Can I ask a follow-up question? What do you do with companies in terms of their trash pickup, such as when you go into large parking lots and things like that? I know that they have to maintain those themselves, but do you do outreach or anything with those? There's one lot in my neighborhood in particular.
Talia, are you taking this? Is this like a point of personal privilege where you actually have an issue right now you'd like to get addressed?
I'll let you know where that is. I'm just wondering, what is a business owner's responsibility?
A business owner's responsibility is actually covered under property standards and metro codes, is to have all of the waste inside of a container. So if there is a parking lot where there's trash around the container, you can actually let us know, and we'll get the information over to code so they can reach out to that property owner.
Okay.
Here,
There's my council.
I'll say, write it down. Just go ahead and pass it back over there. They know. Okay. Thank you.
All
Keep
right,
going.
the next is what we call enhanced services. Obviously, Nashville is growing at a pretty rapid rate, and with those additional new people comes the increased demand for services. So we're requesting additional positions and equipment to support our call center, which will be working in the new hub program. We also have increases for repair crews for traffic signs and signals, as well as roadway and sidewalk patching, vegetation control crews, to add an additional crew to the brush collection program to support our current number of rotations, and additional trash crews to support new subdivisions. This also includes a request for IT support that will be recommended in the IT audit. So this one breaks down a couple different ways. For the hub and call center, we have 2 FTEs for traffic repair crew, signals, signs and signals, we have 6. For right-of-way crews, we have 4, brush crews is 1, and solid waste is 4. That's a lot of people, but it's a lot of services also. Number 7 is then inspection and engineering. We mentioned earlier that we're currently in the process of an audit of our permit department. We don't have that report yet, but we anticipate that they will recommend some additional personnel. We've also requested additional engineers to handle growth in areas such as development services, traffic studies, subdivision review, the one-stop shop, traffic signs and signals, roadways, bridges, sidewalks, bikeways, and intersection construction. So that section breaks down in this way. Permits is 3 people, paving is 2, engineering is 4, and traffic is 3.
Okay.
Under livability, the Livable Nashville Committee identified several recommendations that relate directly to Public Works. The need for twice-monthly curbside recycling pickup within the USD is a recommendation in that plan, as well as, and there's also a need for an ongoing landscape urban forestry maintenance program. There's also a recommendation that additional litter and recycling baskets like those in the downtown area be placed in public areas identified as urban core centers by the Nashville Next Plan. So we would need equipment and positions for these recommendations. Curbside recycling would be 10 employees. Essentially, we have to double the program. And then landscape and urban forestry would be 14, and then litter baskets would be 2. Special events in Nashville, things like July 4th, New Year's Eve, Live on the Green. They help make Nashville a popular destination, so we're requesting additional funding. This would be in the amount of, or this would be for overtime for Public Works employees. And then the last thing we have is surplus parking. We have 2 parking garages in the downtown area that require maintenance and parking personnel. This request covers increased expenditures for items such as elevator repair, lighting, pavement, striping, and signage. But this expense would be offset by additional revenue,
Right, I was going to say.
$870,000.
Okay.
All told, Mark, that's $10 million.
Right.
2 million of which is related to the annexation.
Yeah.
So that's a given, we have to do that. And then 74 positions.
Want to talk about your capital budget?
Yes. Under the capital budget, we have, number 1 would be the USD, which we've already spoken about, 2.3. And then under our ongoing capital programs, we're requesting for bridges, $35.8 million. Roadways would be 15.6. Traffic would be 34.8. I'd like to point out that in that category, we're going to triple the amount of funding for traffic calming. For intersections, it would go up 2.5 times over, and that will include a Vision Zero program as well. For paving, we're requesting $35 million. Sidewalks would be 30, bikeways would be 5, for a total of 156.2. And then our last item is a new public works facility, and we have to vacate our site. So the first year would be $1 million for design, and then in years 2 and 3, we would request $7.5 million each of those years for construction.
Okay. Dahlia?
$156 million.
Yep.
Just saying it make it better? Just checking.
No. I mean, there's a need. Particularly, it would definitely, the piece, can you speak specifically to the paving piece and that, the paving index and where you think that would get us in
Well-
terms of that requirement? You know, the condition report? Yeah. Where would that get us in terms of catching up?
We had $35 million last year for the paving plan, and we're requesting the same amount again this year. We've been going up 2 to 3% a year.
Yes.
So hopefully this would drive us another 2 to 3% and be extremely close to the 70, if not on the 70% of our roads in fair or better condition.
That's good.
So, moving forward. And we do have a list of the roads that are in the most need. We have somebody come in every year and go through that. We do half the county one year and half the county the next year.
And just to be clear, is 440 in that list?
No.
No, because
No.
they are a state road.
That's right.
Just so you know, for the viewers at home.
If it was on our list, it would be
It would
better.
be at the top of the list.
But if you were to support the Improve Act, which the governor is supporting, those dollars would flow into Davidson County to the tune of $1.4 billion over a period of several years, and the first thing that we could do would be to pay 440. So please call your state legislators and ask them to ask for the Improve Act, as well as the enabling legislation that will give us a dedicated transit funding mechanism. Okay, that was my pitch. Go ahead.
Well, and I just have one more thing that I'd like to say, and it has to do with your first budget item, which is the reallocation. And it's because the mayor really challenged departments this year to look at their existing resources in their departments before they came back and asked for additional things. And I know that you guys took that very, very seriously and revisited your existing resources and found a way to get things done.
This is the first time we've heard that today?
It is.
Yes,
It's the first
so,
time that
you-
somebody has reallocated, so we appreciate that.
Yeah, so you guys deserve kudos for taking that seriously.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely.
Got a few more places you could, no.
Other places you can reallocate.
Reallocate?
Well, Mark, I appreciated your comments at the beginning, that this is what it will take to make Public Works a highly successful, highly functioning department. You guys do a really great job right now with what you've got, and I know that if you were given the allocation of resources, which are significant in this budget, but if we were able to do it over a series of many years, I think that it would be to the benefit of Davidson County citizens to see the increase in these services in a really significant way. So I appreciate your thoughtfulness of looking through the lens of what we need now and what's possible over time, so appreciate that. And I also appreciate the innovation component. So, anything else you guys want to add?
No, anybody?
Okay, great. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
here.
Mayor.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.